we know that metals have a property to lose electrons. Metals have free electrons, right, which are in their outermost shell. The outermost shell of metals can easily lose the valence shell, can easily lose the atom, right, and become free to move inside metal, right. And since we have mobile charges in metals, mobile charges are mobile electrons here, right, so it would be able to conduct electricity due to the presence of these free electrons, right. So what happens is, when you apply electric current to a metal rod, say iron or copper rod, these mobile electrons, right, will start moving in a specific direction, right, that is from negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal of the battery, and will conduct electricity. Just I'll quickly show you here. Suppose this is an iron rod, right, and we know that any what atoms does is, atoms have outermost shell, and those outermost shell contains electrons. Those electrons can easily be lost from the metal atoms, and it is these outermost electrons that can conduct electricity. It is due to these outermost electrons are free to move inside metal, which would conduct electricity, right. But let's see little more. These are metal. Since a metal atom will lose an electron, when it will lose an electron, it will become positive, right, and electron is free to move. So the positive signs that you see is, these are metal ions, which are cations, right, and you have electrons freely moving in any direction, right. So these are randomly, one is moving here, one is moving here, one is moving here, right. So these electrons, before you applied an electric current, these are moving randomly in any direction. One is moving here, one is moving there, right, since they are free to move inside the metal, right. But for electrical conduction, we need the charge should move in a specific direction, right. This point is important. For electric conduction, charge should move in a direction, right. And since in this metal rod we have positive ions and we have electrons that are moving inside the metal, but these electrons or these charges are not moving in a specific direction, they are randomly moving, right. So when you apply a battery, when you apply an electric current to it, like this is negative, this is positive, right. So when you apply this, these electrons will start moving from negative terminal of the battery to positive terminal of the battery, right. Due to this motion of electrons from negative to positive terminal of the battery, that is, they are moving in a specific direction, right. This metal rod is a good conductor of electricity, right, because we know that the condition for anything to conduct electricity is a directional flow of charge. Here electrons have started moving in a direction, that is from negative to positive, right. That is why we say metals are good conductors of electricity. Now let's talk about these electrolytes. This you will learn in next future lectures, how these ions which are mobile in water solution, when you added sodium chloride into water, sodium chloride dissociated into sodium ions and chloride ions, right. So like these electrons are randomly moving, right, these positive and negative ions are also randomly moving and are not reacting, right, when there is no electric current applied, right, to the solution of any electrovalent compound. But when solution of electrovalent compound we apply an electric current or we pass electric current through it, these ions will start moving in specific direction, that is positive sodium ion and negative chloride ion will start moving in specific directions, due to which electric current will start flowing, right. So here also we have achieved directional flow of charge. The positive charge and the negative charge, that is the positive ion cation and negative ion anion, will start moving to in specific directions. And so that is how this electrolyte or solution of electrovalent compound will start conducting electricity, right? So let's just quickly compare. So we know that how metals conduct electricity and how electrolytes or chemical compounds conduct electricity, right? Let's just quickly compare. Right, since I said in metals, here metals, we have the charge is moving in a unidirection from negative to positive, right? This charge is moving in one direction, negative to positive terminal of the battery. But in case of these electrovalent compounds, suppose this is an electrovalent compounds, it consists of positive ions and negative chloride ions, right? Negative chloride ions, positive ions, negative ions, right? So when you pass electric current into the solution, these charges will also start moving. Before applying electric current, these positive and negative charges are randomly moving, right? So when electric current was passed through the solution of this electrovalent compound, these charges will start moving in specific directions. Like say negative ions will start moving in one direction and positive ions will start moving in other direction. We'll learn about these directions in future lectures. So now since we have directional flow of charges here also, so electricity will conduct. So here we have, I said negative charge will start moving in one direction and positive charge will start moving in the other direction. So we have here charges are moving in two directions. Here charges are moving in two directions. Second point is charge is moving in this is metallic conduction and this is conduction of ionic compounds. So we know that this conduction that we discussed here, this is the property of metals. Why we say it's a property of metals? Because metals have tendency to lose electrons. The electrons that have started moving are from metals, and it is the property of metals that they can lose electrons easily. They can lose valence electrons easily, right, which will conduct electricity. Right. So electrons, so this is electrical conduction in metals is property of metals, right? And this is electrical conduction in ionic compounds. This is property of ionic compounds, right? And one more thing, metal, in case of metals, metal, say iron, whether it's in solid state or in liquid state, it will conduct electricity, right? And once you stop this electric current, you might have seen any iron rod, if you apply electric current to it, right, and when you stop applying current to it, it will remain same after you stop applying electric current. After applying electric current, the physical form or the state of the metal will remain same. But in this case, right, in case of chemical compound, after you apply electric current, the state of compound will change completely. Before applying electric current, we have this sodium chloride in solution state. We have sodium ion and chloride ion. But when you applied electric current, this sodium chloride will change into this sodium metal and chlorine gas, right? This is the chemical reaction that has occurred. So when you apply electric current to ionic compounds, a chemical reaction will take place. So it's a chemical change, we say. Similarly, in case of metals, when you apply electric current, since there's no change in form, so this is a physical change, no change in form, right? So here we say this electrical conduction in metals is a physical change. That is, there is no change in state. It remains same even after applying electric current. Here, chemical compounds will undergo chemical reaction to form different compounds. Like here in case of sodium chloride, it will form sodium and chloride ions. So chemical compounds will completely change and form different compounds when electricity is passed through it. That is while doing electrolysis. So it's a chemical change. Right. So these points are important because this has been asked once. Compare the electrical conductivity of metal, copper and chemical compound copper sulfate. So do remember all these 3 points. Right. So this is all. Just take down notes of all this. Right. And since we have discussed about electrolytes, right, let's discuss a little more about electrolyte. Right, I said that in order for electrovalent compound to conduct electricity, the electrovalent compound should be in aqueous state or in molten state. Right, so this is an electrolyte. Electrolyte is solution of an ionic compound or ionic compound in molten state that is able to conduct electricity. Right. For example, we have sodium chloride or lead bromide. Right. All these in solution state or in molten state. These contains ions in solution state and in molten state. They contain ions, and due to which they are good conductors of electricity. Right. So these are good conductors of electricity. Like we have studied in case of acids, there are weak acids, there are strong acids. Right. We have weak bases, they have strong bases. Similarly, in case of electrolytes also, since we know that electrolytes conduct electricity due to the presence of ions. Right. So just concentrate on this now. Electrolytes conduct electric current due to the presence of ions. Right. If we talk about, say, sodium chloride, we are doing it, so let's consider this. We know that sodium chloride will dissociate into ions, sodium and chloride ions. We have already discussed dissociation, right? So you can just reverse the video and you can check what is dissociation, right? So sodium chloride will completely dissociate into sodium and chloride ions. When it will completely dissociate, it will have maximum concentration of ions, right? In this case, we have maximum concentration of ions, since sodium chloride is completely dissociating into ions. Let's take example of acetic acid. Right, acetic acid will ionize into acetate ions and hydrogen ions. Right, I've put here a sign of reversible reaction, which means these acetic acid and hydrogen ions will combine back to form acetic acid molecules. Right, so we have concentration of ions less in case of acetic acid. Why? Because there is a reverse reaction wherein these two are combining back to form reactant. So here we have less ions, we have less ions, and contains molecules as well. Right, so this contains ions as well as molecules, and this sodium chloride contains only ions. Right, so just consider one more thing. We said that electricity is conducted via these mobile ions. Electricity in electrolytes are conducted due to these mobile ions. right? So more the number of ions, more would be the electricity, right? If you have more ions in electrolyte, it will allow more electricity to pass through it, right? So in first case, where we have more ions, the sodium chloride solution will allow more electricity to pass through it, whereas acetic acid, which has less ions, will allow less electricity to pass through it, right? And to these kind of electrolytes which dissociate to give more ions, right, and allow more electricity to pass through it, we call these as strong electrolytes, right? And the second type of electrolytes, which is a solution of acetic acid in water, these contain less ions, due to which they will allow less electricity to pass through it. These kind of solutions or electrolytes are called weak electrolytes, right? So electrolytes are divided into weak electrolyte and strong electrolyte due to the number of ions present. More ions are with strong electrolytes and less ions are with weak electrolytes, right? So we'll just and we know that water is also a weak electrolyte. It contains hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions, and there is a reversible sign. These two will combine back to form water molecule, right? And this water contains so less ions that we say that water is a poor conductor of electricity. Since it contains very less ions, so it will not allow electricity to pass through it, or it will allow very less current to pass through it, right? So we say water is a poor or a bad conductor of electricity. Let's just compare the two. We have strong electrolyte and we have weak electrolyte. These contains ions only, right? And these contains, like in acetic acid, some ions are combining back to form molecules, right? These contains ions only. I'll just mention it over here, more ions, right? More ions, or we can write maximum ions. It contains maximum concentration of ions. These contains ions as well as molecules. You know why molecules? Because of reversible reaction. So these contains less ions, right? So strong electrolytes, due to maximum number of ions, are good conductors of electricity, because electricity flows through electrolyte due to the presence of mobile ions, and we have maximum mobile ions in case of strong electrolytes. So these are good conductors of electricity, right? And weak electrolytes are poor conductors of electricity. Why poor conductors of electricity? Because weak electrolytes contains molecules as well as ions, right? And you can we can have one more point. Since I said earlier, since strong electrolyte contains more ions, so it will allow more electricity to pass through it, because it is ions that are responsible to pass to for it is mobile ions that are responsible for electrical conduction through electrolytes. So strong electrolytes, due to more ions, will allow more electric current to pass through it, and weak electrolytes will allow less electric current to pass through it, because they contain less ions and contains molecules as well. So they allow more electric current to pass, right? And they allow less electric current to pass due to the presence of mobiles, due to the presence of ions as well as molecules. They allow more electric current due to the presence of ions only, maximum ions. One thing you have to remember, that it is ions that are responsible for electrical conduction. Once you understand this, all these things would be easy for you, right? So just remember this comparison: electrical conduction through metals and electrolytes, and differences between strong and weak electrolytes. What is electrolyte? All this is very important, right? Now, since we said there are electrolytes, right, like we have conductors, right, which are good conductor of electricity, then we have insulators as well as which are bad conductor of electricity. Similarly, we have electrolytes which are good conductors of electricity because of the presence of ions, right? Then we have non-electrolytes as well, which are poor conductors of electricity. They will not allow electricity to pass through it. Why? Because in water solution they do not ionize to form ions, right? For example, sugar solution, carbon tetrachloride, benzene, toluene, all these in water solution will not ionize, will not form ions. So these are bad conductors of electricity because they do not contain ions, they contain only molecules, right? So we have something called as non-electrolytes. Non-electrolytes which are bad conductors of electricity, which are bad conductors of electricity due to the absence of ions, right? And they contain only molecules, right? Example: sugar solution, carbon tetrachloride solution, and benzene solution, and distilled water as well, right? So this is important. This has been asked many times: why solution of carbon tetrachloride in water or sugar solution in water is bad conductor of electricity? What you will write, since you know, if something is bad conductor of electricity, that means it does not contain ions, right? So in these cases, when you dissolve sugar in water, or when you dissolve this carbon tetrachloride solution in water or benzene in water, these compounds do not form ions in solution. Due to the absence of ions, they do not allow electric current to pass through them, right? And they contain only molecules, no ions. So that is why they are poor conductors of electricity or bad conductors of electricity, right? And I hope all this is clear to you. I'll just recall one more time what is electrolysis now, so that you may understand, right? Electrolysis